All right, what's going on, guys? I'm gonna go over the setup for this sumo deadlift. Um, First thing is first is you want to set your stance. To learn it, it's gonna be easier with a narrower stance, right? Everybody wants to go super wide at first, but you got to learn the mechanics before you start spreading out. So start with a relatively athletic stance, something that you feel you can bounce out of, right? You want the bar over the middle of your foot. So as you can tell, I have a decent amount of space between me and the bar right here, right? So step number one. Step number two is going to be lowering yourself to the bar. So what you see common mistake is people squat down to the bar and they want to pull out of here, right? The problem with that is you can't create tension out of the bottom of a squat, right? It's really hard to create force out of this position, right? So when you're squatting, actually, when you're descending, you're building tension into your muscles, right? To your glutes, your hamstrings. When you get here, you see a lot of people almost bounce out of the hole, right? They have a stretch reflex, but you're building tension into the bottom, and that's how you're able to pop up. Versus on a deadlift, right? If you squat down to the bar, you can't create any force out of the bottom because you don't have any tension, right? This is a passive coming down to the bar, right? We can't create tension out of there. So instead, what we're gonna do is hinge at the hips. So start by pushing your hips into space, right? As we're doing that, we're pushing our legs into the ground. Like if someone had a strap under your foot, right? And they're trying to pull up on your foot and you're actively trying to keep that strap on the floor, right? Someone's pulling up on your foot, trying to pick it up. You're actively driving down into that ground, right? So same thing in here. We're pushing down into the ground. We're pushing down and away from us, like we're trying to split the earth in half. So down, away, push the hips back. As you're doing this, you should feel a crazy amount of tension in your hamstrings, glutes, your entire posterior chain, right? Like if you were coming down on a squat. So create tension here, push the hips back. At this point, you should be able to reach the bar pretty comfortably, right? Our shoulders are long. Our arms are long from the shoulder, right? Our back is still neutral. We're not doing this, right? We're just letting the shoulders and the arms be long. Still driving into the ground, hips back. Right here, you should feel a lot of tension. So the last thing we're going to do is pull up on the bar slightly, right? And then bring those knees forward, right? As you're bringing those knees forward, you're pushing harder and harder into the ground. That bar is going to want to pop off the ground, right? So we're here, lots of tension. Pull up on the bar slightly. We're not trying to yank on the bar, right? A lot of people yank on the bar. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to use our legs to kind of create a little separation, right? So if you watch, I barely grab the bar with my fingertips, right? To get away from the bar, I'm using the legs. All right, so push back into space, lightly grab the bar, push hard through the legs, knees forward. The bar is going to want to pop off the ground by itself, right? So, a little crash course.